So this video is coming about for a couple of reasons. One, my How Strong is Kratos video did very well. If you haven't seen that, make sure to go check it out. And my crossover What If Scenario style videos with Goku did very well. So I decided, why don't I blend those two for a quick video for you guys, since I'm working on a couple major projects like Dante, which leads into Dante vs. Kratos, and then a Juggernaut video. So before I get those big projects out, I want to get you something fun. This was a fun project to do. It is what if Kratos was in Marvel Comics. If you like these kind of videos, if you want to see a DC version, hit the comment section, let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I took questions from my member server. If you want to become a member, comment down below. I'll tell you the best way to become a member. It's way cheaper to not go through YouTube, so definitely comment if you're interested and I can save you some money. But anyways, members suggested theirs first, and then I had some of my subscribers talk about what they wanted to see, and I've narrowed it down to 10 questions / scenarios for Marvel. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. And with that being said, this is Kratos in Marvel Comics. Let's begin. So first question that popped up, saw this question about 30 times. Rightfully so too. I think everybody would agree. This is probably the first one we think of. Kratos and how he would interact with the Greek pantheon and Marvel. So obviously a big question mark for this would come from the fact that, Kratos kind of killed the Greek pantheon from his verse. So obviously he's not overly fond of the Greek type. So with that in mind, if the Marvel versions of this pantheon got information that this is what went down in his verse, how would they take it? Not quite sure. They're not the most active pantheon in Marvel Comics. The most active one obviously is the Norse pantheon. So when you look at that, I'm not quite sure if it'd be that big of a deal when you meet them. I don't have much faith anything will come of it. I think if anyone would pop off with Kratos or interact with him the most from the Greek side, it's Hercules, without a doubt. Hercules is not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight anybody, beef with anybody. If he had even an inkling of an idea that Kratos had ill intentions towards them, he would swing without a doubt. Not saying he'd win, but he'd for sure fight him. So I think the big linchpin of this scenario is Hercules. How does Hercules interpret Kratos? I think Hercules would be fine with the matured Kratos we saw from the latest God of War. I don't think there'd be beef between them, but younger versions, Hercules wouldn't trust him and would fight him. I see Hercules being the big player for the Greek side of things, and that's honestly, with the older Kratos, I see them getting along fine. However, any other version of Kratos, I believe Hercules would probably feel pressed to fight right away because of his aggressive nature. Looking over on, and when I say aggressive nature, I'm referring to young Kratos, not Hercules. On the other side, another popular question brought up by so many different people, Kratos meets Gorr, the God Butcher. How would that meeting go? Yes, both kill gods, both have killed pantheons of gods. However, situations are a little bit different. When I read the recent novel with Kratos, I didn't get the sense of regret for Kratos beefing with the gods. I got a sense of he hated the violence, the wars, everything that led before that, but actually getting revenge against the evil gods didn't seem to bother him, whereas we saw Gorr throughout the story was, whether he wanted to admit it or not, impacted from the sadistic nature of his acts. He wasn't just killing gods for justice, he was murdering. He was going on killing sprees, whereas Kratos was wronged by the gods directly and was getting back at them, where Gorr was kind of making these mental gymnastics in order to justify him going on a genocide. He was like, oh, well, gods didn't help us, so I'm going to kill them all. That was his logic. So it's a little bit different. It's indirect, where Kratos was direct. So I don't see them getting along, and I see those two beefing. If you want to see Kratos versus Gorr the God Butcher, comment down below in an actual versus battle. This is just me looking at it narratively. I don't see them getting along, and I see them fighting almost right away. So if you want to see that battle, Let me know in the comment section right now, and like the comments where you see that suggestion so I know it's popular. Next question scenario. Do they trust Kratos? They is a reference to Earth 616 and essentially people whose opinion matters. So Nick Fury, head of S.H.I.E.L.D., that would matter. Iron Man, that would matter. Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, all these characters, right? Would they trust Kratos if they were given his backstory and he landed on Earth? I think most of them would, but the situations that would go south quick would be situations involving characters like Iron Man. Iron Man has a bit of a reputation for prepping for something or implying he's prepping for something, letting you know about it, and it going south immediately. The first example I can think of this would probably come from when Thor came back and there was the new Asgard floating above Oklahoma, and head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Iron Man landed and was like, "Look, dog, I'm the big man around here. You don't want smoke," and Thor beat him up. Iron Man has a tendency to flex. Characters like that, I feel if they tried to intimidate Kratos, it would go south. But the other ones, I don't see that big of an issue coming. Hulk definitely doesn't have a room to judge when he's gone crazy multiple times before. I don't think he'll care about that, especially when a couple of these characters like Hulk and Thor have the confidence they can take a Kratos. So they're not going to be intimidated. So it's the smarter characters like Iron Man I'm more worried about. But for the other ones, I think for the most part, especially a matured Kratos, I think they'd be fine with him. Maybe Doom might say something, but I'm not too worried if Doom does, because Doom will have something up his sleeve if he pulls up. But yeah, for the most part, I don't see the big dog, muscle types having beef. I see the brain types being the ones that cause the issues, because they always do too much. Next up, Kratos Buster. Could Iron Man make a Kratos Buster? Of course he could. He's made a Hulk Buster before. He's made a Phoenix Buster before to stop the Phoenix Force. Even making something that can somewhat contend with these beings is absurd. So I have no doubt he could make a suit capable of contending with Kratos physically. In fact, he has suits before that could do that. But would he make something in particular to counter Kratos with specific technological hacks? Not sure. He might try to make something to counteract the rune magic of the Leviathan axe. He might try to make something to overcome its retrieval rune that he has. But things like that he might try to get around. But besides that, I think he's going to go for the raw power suit. Just make a suit big and powerful in order to slug it out with Kratos, which he probably won't win because Iron Man's not nearly as good of a fighter as Kratos. I could see him taking an L in that regards. But if he makes something heavy duty, significantly stronger than Kratos, yeah, he could do it. He could make a Kratos Buster. As long as Iron Man takes him serious, he could do it. Biggest rivals and enemies in Marvel. Who do I think the biggest rivals to Kratos would be? First off my mind, probably Loki. I could definitely see Loki being a problem. Loki jokes too much, does too much, seeks power too much. All these things, and he has a lack of fear. He's really not afraid of many people. So Loki would be one of the more liable to beef with Kratos. Obviously, Kratos and Gorr versus Gorr would be a terrific storyline. I think they would be rivals. He would hate Thanos, definitely would. I wouldn't consider that a rivalry because Thanos would beat him up, but that would be someone he would obviously pursue to kill, as well as Galactus. I could see him having a big problem with Galactus, especially because Galactus is almost uncaring in the things he does because it's literally his function. So those are the characters I immediately would assume Kratos could run into and have problems with. Maybe Doctor Doom, if Doctor Doom tries him. But besides that, those are the big ones. If you guys think of any enemies you believe he would off-rip beef with, let me know down below. Next up, Herald of Galactus Kratos. What would that look like? He would stomp Silver Surfer. This would probably be the strongest Herald we've seen of Galactus. It would be an amazing storyline. With the power cosmic, we would see this older, more matured Kratos have so much more versatility than he's had prior, able to do so many more things he hasn't done before, like energy projection, things of that nature. This older Norse mythology dealing Kratos doesn't use as many hacks as he used to. So it would be so cool to see him with the power cosmic. Just Kratos wilding out with all the hacks offered by the power cosmic, and I definitely think he would take advantage of what it provides you in terms of power and versatility. So yeah, that would be probably one of the best Marvel. So it would be way cooler than Cosmic Thor. I would love to see Herald of Galactus Kratos. Next up, Kratos versus Ghost Rider. How would this go down? Personally, for me, I don't see Ghost Rider doing much unless two things happen. One, Penance Stare does work, which it's possible could work on Kratos. Not saying it's a sure thing, but possibly could work. He does have guilt about the bloodshed before he killed the gods. Just because I said he doesn't care about gods doesn't mean he doesn't care about everything else. So that could happen, and if Zarathos came out, Zarathos would probably slaughter Kratos. So those two scenarios are the only way I see Ghost Rider doing anything to Kratos. But besides those two special circumstances, I think Kratos would beat up Ghost Rider for the most part. Next up, Kratos arrives on Asgard. How does that go? Well, with that, I don't see him, just showing up and popping off. The only way that happens is if he shows up and is under the impression this is the Asgard from his verse. Because he knows the Norse gods in his verse are dirty, horrible people. He would for sure pop off if he was under that impression. But if he's under a normal impression, I don't see any beef really happening. Besides the first circumstance I mentioned, maybe pops off if Loki's there and Loki acts up. But besides that, I don't see Kratos really just going out of his way to show up to Asgard and start trouble. Really, someone else would have to pop off on him, or he would have to look at it like, okay, this is the Asgard from my verse. And in that case, I think he would start wilding out on these characters. Next up, biggest allies. One of them, when I think of this question, I think it'd be funny, but I do see Wolverine trying to hang out with Kratos. Wolverine's not on his level, but Wolverine likes to hang out with people way above him. I could see those two hanging out. I could see Kratos respecting the Punisher in a way. Again, they kind of don't have anything in common besides their mentality, so it's kind of hard to hang out with. But I could see him doing that. Kratos and Hulk might have some crossover events. I could see Thor. Thor would be kind of an obvious one for him to do. Blue Marvel, Hyperion, not Gladiator. Gladiator is kind of, that whole confidence thing is just weird. I don't think Kratos would vibe with that. He might think that's weird too, but I think the big ones would be like Thor, maybe Hercules if they get along. Punisher, those types, the more extreme but honorable. And I think he'd have respect for Captain America, because who the hell doesn't respect Captain America? I think he'd definitely respect Cap. That'd be cool to see them interact. But yeah, those are the biggest allies I think you would have off the top of my head. And the final question / scenario. What if Kratos went to hell? So, when I asked this, by the way, shout out to Native Ninja, new member to my server, also boosted this server as well. Big shout out to the new villain in the League of Villains. But when you look at this question, there's multiple hells in Marvel. So are we looking at it like, oh, if he goes to hell, we're looking at it as Mephisto's hell? If he goes there, I think Kratos gets out because Mephisto jobs like a mofo. I don't see him stopping Kratos at all. You got Doctor Doom. His soul pulled up to Mephisto's realm, and Mephisto said, "You're mine now." And Doctor Doom said, "I don't think so, Chief." And Mephisto was like, what? And Doctor Doom's like, yeah, I'm not staying, big dog. And Mephisto was like, how about if I stop? Like, just fucking mauled, just like that. Mic broken and everything. Like, he just got beat up, muffle mic'd, all that. Horrible look for him. I don't think Mephisto holds Kratos at all. I think narratively Kratos would beat the shit out of him. If he goes to Hela's realm, a little more interesting. She doesn't job as hard. He might be in more trouble there, but narratively, again, I think he's getting out. A lot of the Hells in Marvel, except the major one like Sidorak's realm or the one below all, things like that, way bigger issues, but the other ones he should be fine. Nightmare jobs as well. It's just a lot of the Marvel Hell Lords job. The ones he'd have biggest issues with, Sidorak beats him up, Dormammu, all them. Obviously, all the Hell Lords at their peak destroy him, but when they job hard, you feel me? So I think Kratos escapes hell, especially since we know Wolverine's done it and he's the job god. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to become a member of the League of Villains, let me know in the comment section and I'll add you on Discord. I have a new Discord now because I got a new phone and forgot my other email, so I'll have to add you. So make sure to comment your Discord link down below. Anyways, it's been YFV, your favorite villain, and I will see y'all later. Peace.